So this one comes in. Parishioners or people say that they are Catholic. So I think this is coming from another person who's concerned about confusion or ambiguity of what it means to be Catholic. We didn't really talk about the Nancy Pelosi, for example, side of that question, which is fine. It's not what it was about. But this one shifts maybe a little bit more to that aspect. So parishioners or people say that they are Catholic, and they are proud to say it, but yet they do not attend church and they do not follow the teachings of the church. They say they are fine with where they are. They say it's between them and God, and when I ask why they don't attend, or that's what they say when I ask why they don't attend. Of course, I say we always welcome you back. So why be so proud to have the Catholic faith and proclaim to be a devout Catholic or identify as such, but have no intentions of stepping back inside the church, of being reconciled to God in confession, or of aligning one's life with the teachings of the church?
It's a great question, and gosh,
it's a lot.
I wish I knew the answer to that one too.
Yeah, I know, right? Well,
there's so many people that are on that kind of fringe, and
yeah, that's for sure.
Well, you sound like you were about to say something.
Well, it reminds me kind of a bit anecdotal. I think I remember somebody kind of telling me something along those lines. It's a story that we probably all know and have heard. Like, well, I've asked God, and He said it's fine. It's like, I don't think you were talking to God, because ultimately, it leads into the same thing. I think I forget what question it was, but we talked about we can lead a horse to water, but we can't make it drink, right? And so ultimately, like our calling as Catholics and Christians is to invite, to continue to invite and form that relationship, right? But ultimately, maybe unfortunately, but definitely fortunately, because we want people to have free will. We want to have free will, by which we love truly, but that also means they can choose not. And we have to let people be free to that. We try and make it as appealing as we can, but ultimately it's not our decision. So, yeah.
St. Teresa of Avila, one of her great spiritual works was Interior Castle, in which she talks about like these different levels of conversion, basically, of growing closer and closer to God. And each room of the castle, you get closer and closer, and Satan and his demons are have these different tactics at each level. And I suspect, for those persons who are kind of stuck, at that kind of that first room of the castle, I think it's, if I remember well, but it's oftentimes, the tactic of the evil one, the tactic of demons is really just to constantly distract and get us off track from just moving ahead with the very basics of practice of the faith, time for prayer, going to Mass, the very basic things, just by the distractions of the world, whether it's money or other just, day-to-day distractions. And I suspect that's kind of where a lot of people kind of on the fringe are at, is that, they may have some sense that, like, yes, or they, on an intellectual level, they accept or see a good in the church and what she teaches, but it's not come to the point where they've been able to integrate the heart and to change. And I think because there's just so many distractions in the world in which we live today.
Yeah,
that's how I see it.
Great point about bringing up the spiritual realities of that, because I think it's so easy to forget that. I know I easily forget that. That this is not about flesh and blood, as St. Paul says in Ephesians 6. This is about prince and principalities. This is about the invisible powers of the world. This is about Satan hating us and hating God and hating the possibility that we can be in communion with Him. Mm-hmm. And that is achieved, communion with God is achieved through the humble yes. And so we can sort of see a pattern here. Satan ultimately rejects the plan of God. Why? I will not serve. In other words, I will not be vulnerable with my existence or my reality vis-a-vis the plan of God. This is about me and what I like and what I prefer. And so he and a third of the angels are cast out of heaven. So I will not serve. There's the first principle of Satan. And then when you were talking, I was thinking of what we were speaking of in terms of confession. What does that require to do? Vulnerability, humility, On the tongue, there's elements of that involved too. Vulnerability, humility, prayer, coming to mass when we feel okay. If we, just staying home, what does that require? Humility. Gosh, you know what? God's revealed that this is where He wants me to be, and to say I'm fine is using different words to proclaim what Satan proclaimed. I will not serve. Now, do people intentionally do that? I don't think so.
No.
But it rhymes.
Yeah.
With that notion.
Well, and the evil one would want us to make that statement without knowing it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So that's a good point. Yeah. The spiritual realities, ever present. Actually more real really than what we're experiencing now because they're eternal.
Right. Yeah, we don't think about it, but I mean, right now there's angels and saints in heaven, and then Satan and demons waging war over our souls. As we sit here talking.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it is. We have to kind of cultivate that Catholic, that Christian imagination of, in a good way. These things. These are not like cartoon characters. Where. But
A Godfather with big beard.
right. The angels, the saints, demons, like they are. And how is the demonic most influential in our life? It's not exorcisms, or it's not demonic possession. I mean, that's a reality, but it isn't just temptation and distraction and just getting us off track and getting us to forget who we are. That's the reality of our Christian lives, and so I think it is. We do need to see it in light of that spiritual warfare that's taking place, and we have so many people. We have so many fallen away Catholics who are just kind of on that sort of line of they see the good, the truth, or on some level, and take pride in it, but they're just not there. They can't make that.
It's just strange.
They can't make that step. It's perplexing.